Well, happy Father's Day, everybody. I told you I would give you a scenery update before I left for Texas in the morning. So here it is. This is what I've been working on for the past week. So I'll go in some of the details in some other videos. But let's cut to that, and then I will zoom in and give you some of the details. So point out some of the finer details anyhow. So I've been making super trees. I bought the starter kit, which came with a lot of stuff. I'm not going to do a review of the kit, but it came with a lot of stuff, and I've got all kinds of stuff left over. I don't have any of the tree armatures left over. I'll have to buy some of those if I want to do that. But I've got all kinds of the flocking and the glue and plenty of that stuff left over. So if you get the kit, I mean, I got 27 trees out of the armatures I got. I'd say I could, with the material I have, I could make another 200 trees if I needed them. So right now they're drying. What I did is I'm not gonna, there's a bunch of videos on how to use super trees online, so I'm not gonna go through step by step. I don't want to duplicate somebody else's work. I mean, if you just Google super trees, or in YouTube, searching YouTube super trees, bunch of good videos how to do it, and some people put their own little twist on it. It's okay. So after I prepped the armatures, I painted them. Painted some of them gray, some of them brown, and then I sort of misted over black over them. This material here is for my pine trees I'm going to start trying to make. It's furnace filter material. So after the armatures were all prepared, I mixed up the glue that they gave you, and you can tell, I mean, I made 27 trees, and I'm just pouring this back in the bottle. It's a mixture of water and glue, but gosh, I don't want to waste that. I only mixed half the bottle, and I've still got that much left over, so I'm not going to waste it. I'll just put it back in the bottle. I made 3 trays. This one has this is some of the stuff they give you, flock and turf. This is the spring green, and then they give you a hazy green fine. These, I mean, I didn't use, a third of these. So this is the spring green, this is the hazy green, and this is the mixture of the two. What I eventually ended up doing that I really liked is I would dip the armature in here, swirl it around, make sure it was coated. I'd pull it out and I'd blow on it, because there's always going to be like pockets of glue, the surface tension holds things. So I didn't want any of that stuff there. So I just sort of blew on it to make sure most of those were gone. I'd come over here to this one and hold the tree up, and I'd sprinkle the dark green on it, and I'd rotate it around, make sure I got it, try to get it inside, and then I'd come over here and do the lighter green. So it sort of makes it look like the inside is in the shadows, and I really like that. So I started out, I'd do like one of each one, and I'd just go back and forth, and I finally thought, well, let's try a mixture here, and so I started doing that, and I really like it. So I know the lighting's not the greatest in here. These are the ones I started doing every other one. So this is like the light green, the dark green, the mixture, the light green, the dark green, the mixture. But then I eventually came over here and started doing, I did about the last 15 of them, probably with the method I just described. So anyhow, I just thought I'd show you, this is how I did it, not a step-by-step. It's a messy process, but it's kind of fun. I did these 27 trees. I would say I did the prep, pulling the seeds out and trimming them up in front of the TV, and that might have taken an hour in front of the TV. This part here hasn't even taken an hour, mixing up the glue, doing this. So just going to let them dry, and then I'm going to try to work on the pine trees today too. Okay, so the foreground hill is going to be a cattle pasture. So I used 2mm ground foam, and I'm going to have 3 trees in there, maybe a couple of scrubby trees or something too. I don't know if I'm going to put them this evenly spaced. I've got 2mm ground foam there, but on the hills going down to General Chemical and down to the creek, I used some leftover ground foam from the other module. Some of that stuff is 7mm, pretty tall, but you know, I've got weeds behind my house right now that are 8 to 9 feet tall, so yeah, it's definitely possible. Of course, I did the same things I did on the loop towing module. I, you know, left some bare spots of dirt and things like that. It's just, you know, not a solid carpet of cover. On the back hill, that's going to be covered with trees. So over here, I sort of made it where that real steep is. I did the same thing, like it's just the dirt has fallen in places and things. There's a place in Maysville that used to be like that. And actually, there was a furniture store right beneath it. And I thought, man, I'd be really nervous if I was at furniture store that whole hillside is going to cave in on me sometime. It's gone now. They tore the store down. It went out of business. They tore it down. The hillside never did fall on it. But so, excuse me, I scattered some ground foam and stuff, glued it down. Those are dried leaves, ground up leaves, to sort of simulate the forest floor. Come around here. This is still a little wet right here where I've just been sprinkling this on. So just going to have a row of trees all the way back there. And so I'm going to be working on the, this is the Woodland Scenics barbed wire fence. So you have to actually put it in one post at a time. So you put a post in like this one, you glue it in, then you can stretch the barbed wire tight, glue that post in. So you can't, it's a very slow process, but I think it'll look good when I get done. So the fence is going to come up, go across the back of the cut, and then come over to here. And I haven't decided if I'm going to put one along the front with a gate or something like that. I might do that. I've got enough fence to do it. Unfortunately, I didn't have the foresight to order cows, so I don't have any cows to put in there. But I'm hoping I can get that back hillside forested tonight and start on there. So I did two things. I made some super trees, which I showed you a bunch of them hanging up in the back, and they are here. And I probably still need to trim them up a little bit, but I also ordered some Woodland Scenics. They called it the Forest Canopy. And it's actually a natural product too, but it's a lot coarser than the stuff from Scenic Express. So it's not exactly what I expected, but I'm going to try to put those toward the back and use the super trees toward the front. And of course, I'll trim them up a little bit. I was just walking my dog, and I walked through a forest area. And actually, you know, you sort of think, well, let me zoom back up here. Like, well, you know, hey, you'll be able to see all the way to the backdrop. But no, when a forest, you know, has a clearing like that, all this brush and stuff fills in. You really can't see the tree trunks and stuff very much. I mean, I have to really look hard to see any trees inside there, because it's just all this scrub brush fills it in. So that's what I'm going to do all the way around it, so you really aren't going to be able to see the tree trunks in there. It's just going to be like a scrubby mix up until you get to the trees. Again, this is new territory for me, so we'll see. Oh, you can see where I tore the backdrop a little bit back there when I was taking the pieces of paper off. It wasn't the blue tape that got me. It was just the scenic glue. The paper stuck to the paper backdrop, but that'll be hidden anyhow. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to start doing it, and hopefully I'll have something to show you by Sunday. Okay, so I talked about this before. This is 2mm static grass. I have the Woodland Scenics barbed wire fence. It's sort of grown on me a little bit. When I first started doing it, wasn't too wild about it. It's hard to get the wires taut because they're fixed in place. I actually think if you use that easy wire stuff that I ran for my line poles, that it would look better. Everything would be taut But man, that may be a pain, a pain to do it. So it sort of grew on me a little bit. I like some sort of the details. I don't know if you can. So I don't know if you can see it here, but there's like corner posts in here, and it comes with gates and things. So, you know, it's not bad. I mean, it's, you know, I was just sort of picky at first, but trying to move the camera a little bit. I should turn the light on Chillicothe. That might help. Okay, so like I said, back here I modeled just a real steep hillside that has sort of been collapsing. It's got a bunch of brush and stuff down behind it. That's how I had to join the modules together. Put some little scrubby trees along here and against the fence for General Chemical to blend that together. And I did the same thing for a creek bank, basically. I just did the same thing over here. Just filled in with some scrubby trees and tall grass and everything. Okay, I'm trying to keep it on the tripod so I don't shake it as much, but you guys probably wish I'd take it off the tripod because I'm shaking it like crazy. Alright. Hills came out pretty good. I already talked about how I used the forest canopy from Woodland Scenics, like this stuff. All this back in the back is all the forest canopy. Everything in the front is super trees, and you can't really see anything. Now the little scrubby stuff that I pointed out like this in here, that's just super tree, like waste stuff you cut off of it. So that looks pretty good. See if I can, I'm probably going to have to take off the tripod because I don't think I can get into the creek very well. I'm sort of in a corner here. Okay, the rocks, I was still not satisfied with how yellow they were. I'm trying to represent sandstone. So I dry brushed some of the red burnt umber over it, and I like it a whole lot better now. Again, I just let the dirt and stuff pile right down on top of them. I had to vacuum this up down here before I poured the creek. And I've got some little bushes, you know, piled. So I'm pretty happy with that. I put a wash of black on the piers, and this is going to have some rocks and stuff. What's holding me up on the creek right now is I have this vision in my head as I want to get some actual creek rock, like sand, which is comprised of little tiny rocks from the area. And since I live 3 hours from there, I haven't had a chance to go get it. When I get it, all this is going to be the creek rock, and there's going to be a bunch of it in the bed. And I hope it'll turn out all right. That's my vision anyhow. So that's why it's holding it up. You can see that I continued with the super trees across the back. Those pine trees I made. Ron's Trains and Things, Ron Marsh. He's got a couple of videos on it, but this is like the first video I did. I think I had 17 minutes or something. So it's skewers and furnace filter, and paint the furnace filter, and you cut it into pieces and put it on the skewers and paint it with hairspray and do ground foam on it. I think they look pretty good. I'm happy with them. I'm not gonna, you know, fuzz too much about them. In southern Ohio, we do, it's basically hardwoods are the native tree. You know, oak, hickory, maple. It's what you'll see most of in the forest. We do have some native pine trees, but they're not generally, they're just like Virginia pine, sort of scrubby stuff. There have been pine trees planted, especially in the area that I'm modeling around Oak Hill, because there used to be a lot of strip mining down there, and so they plant pine trees to help reclaim the soil. So you'll see big clumps if you look on Google Maps, you know, in the aerial photos, satellite view, you'll see big forests of pine trees, but they're not native to Ohio. They didn't grow that way naturally. But there are pine trees here and there, so I'm putting some pine trees on the ridge back there, and I need to make some more. So I only made, I think, 5. I made another one, but it was too tall, and I thought I'd just put that in town or something like that. but it's good method. Let me swivel on around here a little bit. I have decided to put fire tower there, and I'm going to have probably a maybe a road coming out of the town up to it, something like that, and a parking area for the forest ranger can park his truck or jeep or whatever there. Of course, it'll be like a grassy, sorry, kick the tripod, like a grassy area around it, because they don't want trees right around it, and there'll be trees probably all the way through here and around it and all the way on that back ridge. 4th of July weekend, I think we're going to go to Ohio at least for one day. Got to figure out what to do with the dogs. So it's a long ride for them to be in the car, 3 hours there and 3 hours back, and don't know if we want to do that or if we try to board them. You know, we're not sure how Chance would do boarding. So anyhow, but that I will be able to get my materials for the creek bed, I'm hoping, that weekend, and I can pour the water, and after I pour the water, I'll put the bridge in, put the track in. Well, I'll finish the trees on that back ridge back there. I can work on this ridge with the fire tower, you know, I can do that after the track's in, everything, no problem. So this is where I'm at. Made pretty good progress. I'm out of super trees. I ordered some more. Like I said in the video, I have enough flocking and stuff to make all that I'm going to need. So I ordered this big, like it says it's a 1/4 bushel or a 1/4 pound or something. This said it's supposed to make a whole bunch of trees. And the guy that does Model Railroad Hobbyist, can't think of his name right at the moment, he said he bought this thing and he got over 100 trees out of it, and that was an HO. So I should be able to get a lot more than that by cutting them up. I won't need that more than I'll have a lot of stuff left over, probably. Looking forward to getting this done so I can get back to Oak Hill. Going to San Antonio this week, not taking any modeling stuff with me. Sometimes it's tough on the plane to do that. So, you know, to have stuff like that, you know, thought about taking a bunch of furnace filter and cutting it up, sit in the hotel room, cut it up, but I decided not to do that. So, I'll just rail fan or hang out in the hotel room. It's supposed to be brutal hot. So anyway, I hope everyone had a great Father's Day, either if you're a father yourself or, you know, everyone else has a father, that's for sure. So I hope in some ways you paid your respects to your father, either in person or through memories, in my case. So I will post the rest of the operation video this week while I'm in San Antonio, so you have that to look forward to, and then next weekend it's back to the scenery. So everybody stay safe.